Welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
We got some nerd news for you today.
That we do. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of DC movie news. We're going to be talking about a Ghost of Tsushima movie that just got announced, the latest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But to kick things off, let's start with some video game stuff here. So Switch Pro, we're getting more and more rumors or reports, I guess at this point, about Switch Pro. They're coming from Bloomberg. NVIDIA is going to be providing a upgraded chip that would give the Switch Pro more processing, better graphics, and they also say that it will probably increase the price of the Switch anywhere between $50 to $100, which sounds about right for the most part.
Yeah.
It's also projected to come out this holiday. So, thoughts?
I don't know. I think obviously we know it's coming now. I think that's the biggest thing. And then I just want more details on specs is this like a whole new thing, or is this just like an upgraded Switch basically? Like, obviously they're going to stick with the Switch model for a long time, but is this the next system we got to get? And are there going to be exclusive games? That's what I need to know.
Yeah, because Nintendo has a history of doing this type of thing. Having an upgraded model, like they did
3DS.
They've done it with every version of like pretty much their handheld for the most part, going all the way back to the Game Boy. Like you had the big old Game Boy that was like a brick, and then you had the Game Boy Pocket, and the list goes on and on. But
Game Boy Color.
Yep, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Micro, DS, DS Lite, DSi, the whole shebang. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, is this just going to be essentially a Switch just with some more bells and whistles? Like, are there going to be exclusive games? Is this going to essentially be starting like a smartphone model type scenario for the Switch, where eventually your OG Switch is going to become outdated? It's not going to run, games anymore, the newest games, and so you have to upgrade or something like that. But it's a foregone conclusion that this thing is coming. And all evidence points to sometime this fall, which I think that would line up with my theory about Breath of the Wild coming out alongside with this, or Breath of the Wild 2, But I think the real question is, when is Nintendo actually going to start talking about it? When are they going to unveil it? When are we actually going to get the meat and the potatoes and the details on this thing?
My guess would be their summer direct, so whatever replaces E3 for them. Or honestly, I wouldn't even surprise me if it was like, August, September, right around there, and then it comes out November.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see though.
That's true, because they did take their time. Like, I don't know. I think like the Switch was like unveiled like almost about 6 months before it came out. So like officially. So we'll see.
Yeah. Pikmin Go is a real thing. I don't know why they're trying to go with this Go stuff, but Niantic and Nintendo recently announced a new partnership, and the first game to come out of this is an AR Pikmin game. There's not really anything going on other than that. Nothing's been revealed, but apparently this is happening, and these are the same guys that made Pokemon Go.
Yeah. We all remember Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to play this. I don't really. Tim Seabrecht might.
Oh, like anything Nintendo does, like Nintendo could like legitimately like package crap, and Tim would buy it day one here. Yeah. So, this is an interesting choice just because I figured they would go for something a little bit more on the popular side of Nintendo's franchises. Like, I figured like, get like a Mario or Zelda up in there or something like that. But, or, even Animal Crossing at this rate, because that I think is considered one of their A-tier franchises probably now, roughly somewhere around there. But yeah, I think, I guess it makes sense. Just based on like the actual game, just because the game does take place on like Earth, just only it's a microscopic form of it. So, but I mean, the whole detail about it is like it's supposed to make walking more enjoyable. So I'm not entirely sure what they're meaning by that. I mean,
Well, I'm guessing it's similar to Pokemon Go where you get out and walk, but it'd be fun, instead of just going on a walk, you're like, I'm gonna go catch Pokemon around the block or
yeah.
whatever.
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's like, Pokemon Go, it's like you walk and you stop, you walk and you stop here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see like what this is actually going to be looking like.
I'm more interested in the Digimon Vital Bracelet, which is like
Is that a
basically like
thing?
it's a thing. It's only in Japan right now, but
Okay.
basically it's like what do you call it? Like a Fitbit, but you have your own Digimon in it, and you do different stuff. It has goals for you, like you get trophies, and then you digivolve your. That's how you do it. Is you're active. So I'm about it, but give me something like that right now, not Pikmin Go. All right, so something that
Is
is
that region locked or something like that?
I don't know if it's region locked, but there's no English version of it right now. So it's
Oh,
only
I'll
in
just learn
Japanese.
Japanese real quick.
Yeah. So Microsoft
So,
is buying Discord, and for a lot of money, lots of billions of dollars. For those that don't know what Discord is,
yeah.
Discord's pretty much like a communication service, an app that basically lets gamers chat and communicate with each other on an app on your phone
Yeah.
or on your computer. But basically, it's going to be like I think it was like 10.2 billion was the exact number, I guess. But details of what what
Yeah.
Microsoft has to do with it is unknown. They might just leave it as Discord. I'm guessing they'll eventually roll it into Microsoft Discord. It's going to be Microsoft branded. Microsoft, they do that to everything pretty much. Um,
Pretty much.
I hope they don't ruin this app. I hope they don't make it like a where you got to pay some money, like a subscription type thing, because that would kind of hurt people like us that use it. Not a lot, but when we want to hop on cross-platform, that's kind of the only way you can do it. Especially if someone's on Switch. So we'll see what happens.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario is Microsoft buys it for the $10 billion, which I'm actually kind of surprised at that price point, to be honest with you. I didn't think the company would be like valued at that price or like anywhere in that ballpark, to be honest with you.
right.
But that being said, yeah, best case, they buy it, they sit on it, and it just generates, millions and millions of dollars for them on a yearly basis, and they provide funding. Hopefully, they just leave it at that and don't do anything else with it. And I mean, Microsoft is on a roll with their big impulse buys. I mean, they just bought Bethesda for like billions of dollars like a couple months back here. So I mean, they're really just like, all hands on deck apparently or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Xbox Live, the thing you know and love, is no more, but it kind of is. It's getting renamed basically to Xbox Network, which is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you know why they're
granted,
doing this?
uh I I don't know, to be honest with you, man. Like if I
Oh
had to
crap! You
venture,
know what? Maybe they're tying Discord in with this.
it's a possibility. I
That's
I
why it's
could see
called
that.
Xbox Network.
I could I know that they're doing some changes to it, like, free to play games like, Fortnite and all that aren't going to require Xbox network subscriptions and stuff like that. They're doing some they're making some changes with the service. So that could be the reason why they're doing it, but this is Xbox Live. This is like the first like console online subscription service that we had
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is they kind of paved the way for like what online service is nowadays here. So I'm kind of
I mean, I remember when it
just
came out. Like, I
yeah.
remember I didn't have an Xbox when it first came out. I had PS2, and at the time, and I remember one of my friends was like, "Yeah, you can go online and play with people," and I was like,
Like
"What?"
like
It's like, "Yeah, you ever played Halo?" I'm like, "No," and then I went over to his house. I was like, "This is amazing." So
right. Uh, and I mean, well, I mean, it's just because it's such an iconic name and like form of branding that I don't know. It just seems so weird to me that that's what they're going with here.
yeah. Well,
I
let's
mean,
talk
granted,
about. Oh, go ahead.
granted, the name is you know pretty on the nose. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the online network or whatever here, but I mean, I feel like I don't know. I just don't get it personally.
Yeah, I don't know either. But movies and comics are turning into, or
Video
movies and
games,
video games,
yeah,
and they're turning into movies and all that stuff. And it sounds confusing, but Ghost of Tsushima, I got it there the first
you
try
got it,
almost.
you got it.
Uh, so Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions are going to develop a Ghost of Tsushima movie, is what it sounds like. And so it's going to have the John Wick director attached, which I don't know how. I mean, what do you think about that? Because I'm kind of about it right now.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it would be like my first choice. I would probably prefer somebody who has a little bit more background doing like these historical epic movies, like maybe like some of a Game of Thrones director or something along those lines or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I'm just kind of curious, like, where does the director of John Wick actually have the time? He's
yeah.
directing like 4 and 5. He's doing the My Friend Pedro TV show on top of that. I mean, it's like, do you sleep? Like,
No,
what's going on there?
you don't.
But I mean, and so it makes sense for this, game to be made into a movie just because for one, very successful game that came out last year. Also, I think this is like uh, one of the video game adaptations that are going to be a little bit easier to translate over to an actual movie, just because essentially it's a playable samurai movie, essentially for the most part.
Right.
Um, I mean, it does seem like an odd fit to have the John Wick director on board, but I don't know. I kind of feel like this might just, I mean, granted, Sony's kind of been on a little bit of a roll with actually rolling out their, adaptations. Like, they just got the casting for The Last of Us. They were, getting an Uncharted movie at some point, if the delays ever stop here. So, so who knows? This might actually come sooner rather than later. I'm just so used to like when a video game movie gets announced, waiting and waiting and waiting forever for something to come out. I mean, heck, we still don't even have that Halo movie that got announced like what 20 years ago or
Yeah,
whatever.
something like that.
There was supposed to be a God of War movie announced, a Gears of War movie, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's all been in like development hell for the most part. So yeah, so we'll see if this actually gets fast tracked. Hopefully, it does.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'm okay with this. Obviously, I just don't know if it's going to be how you're going to translate the culture. Like, it's just a little bit
Right,
different than John Wick. So, but let's
it
talk about
is.
Berserker, because Berserker, as I called it day one, is getting a movie and an anime. And Keanu Reeves is going to star in them, obviously, but it's based on Keanu's comic Berserker. And so now Netflix has the rights, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's like you know, there's no original ideas in Hollywood these days. So
No,
anything that Hollywood can find that's like new to adapt that seems like it's gaining traction or somewhat of a hit. I mean, you combine that and Keanu Reeves, like it was gonna get picked up, like no matter what.
yeah,
Um, Netflix sure does love its anime adaptations. Like they just roll out anime adaptations like nobody's business for things.
pretty
Like we
much.
got yeah.
um, for those of you who want to watch Black Widow, you're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer.
Mhm.
coming out July 9th. And it's going to be on Disney Plus as well as in the theaters. Obviously, it's premiere access on Disney Plus. But yeah, they should have done this a long time ago, in my opinion, because at this point we would have had it free on Disney Plus instead of paying the $30 premium price. But ain't nobody gonna go see it in the theater. I don't think it's gonna be that movie that draws people back to the theater. So I don't know. Like I can see you going, and if it's cheap, maybe going to see it at the theater, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll see it in theater just because I'm not going to spend $30 just for one movie that you don't even own. I mean, I'm still surprised Disney is still going with this model just because it seems like such a ripoff,
For
especially considering
for
how
someone in your spot, yes, but with people with
yeah,
families, no, not necessarily.
for people with families, no, but I mean, again, it's like you look at like just regular on demand video here. It's like, yeah, you pay like 20 to 25 bucks roughly somewhere around there, but you actually own the movie after that, and you're not like having to be tied to like a subscription service to access that movie. But
That's true.
yeah,
But yeah, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, Black Widow is coming out July 9th. Finally, we get to see it. Hopefully it's not a dud. Speaking
hopefully
of
not. No.
things that are duds, Falcon and Winter Soldier are not. They are topping the charts of pretty much everything right now, but apparently it's the most watched premiere ever on Disney Plus. So obviously it beats out all the other things, Clone Wars, WandaVision,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and Mandalorian season 2. So interesting to me that this beats out Mandalorian season 2. I think that's kind of a surprise to me, but definitely not WandaVision. Obviously, these characters are a little bit more beloved than Vision and Wanda. But yeah, like I said, beating out Mando kind of surprised me a little bit for season 2.
yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely surprised that it beat out Mando just because I think you're getting more outside interest in this here, whereas like um, people who are interested in the Mandalorian, they were probably already on board with Disney Plus, like from the beginning, or already subscribers. I think this is like pulling it. Falcon and Winter Soldier are pulling in
That's
more people
true.
from the outside.
True. Yeah. Suicide Squad has a trailer. We've been waiting a long time. This movie comes out pretty dang soon, couple months from now, about 5 months, I think. Which I think
Provided it doesn't get delayed.
right, but I think originally it was earlier, but it probably got delayed. But yeah, so what do you think about the trailer, Dorian?
So it's a red band trailer, so it's definitely a rated R movie. I'll tell you that much here. But honestly, I think this movie looks great. You know, it looks like a rated R version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You got John Cena, I think, is going to be killing it in this movie.
Yeah,
I really liked Idris Elba's just like, I'm trying to find the right wordage for it, but he's like that, like, I'm just so done with this whole whole shtick type of like mentality or attitude that he brings and all
yeah.
that. Uh, King Shark is going to be the Groot of this movie, who is
Oh yeah,
voiced by Sylvester Stallone. And all he'll just say like one word like sentences and all that essentially. So, which I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's a little like too familiar for me, especially seeing how like King Shark in the comics like can actually talk and you know just like a regular human being. But and I feel like they finally found a good look for Harley Quinn. I'm coming off of like Birds of Prey, where she looks like she's in competition for Lady Gaga for a fashion statement with all the outfits that she wears. I think this is like, okay, we're actually kind of starting to get like a little bit more traditional looking Harley Quinn here for the most part, or like at least something a little bit more comic accurate, I guess, or so to speak. And we also get Starro in this, which is like a kaiju that like starfish kaiju that controls people's minds and whatnot, and it's actually the first villain that the Justice League ever fought. So yeah, it's honestly, it looks like a good time, and I'm on board for this here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying there. I'm excited to see it eventually, but let's talk about the real stuff now. Okay,
Oh
we're
gosh.
talking about God's gift to mankind, which is the Snyder Cut.
Don't you say that. Don't you say what you're saying.
So there has been some trending tweets and whatnot happening as of late. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse has over 1 million tweets as of right now, and probably more as of when this comes out. And hashtag release the Snyder Cut for Suicide Squad has trended, which everyone and their dad
Well,
now
a
wants,
Ayer cut.
or sorry, release the Ayer Cut, my bad. Yeah, David Ayers did the
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, which that movie sucked too. Like I don't see it getting an Ayer Cut, but
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about these shenanigans that are happening right now?
All right. So if you haven't watched last week's episode, I went into full detail on my feelings on, Snyder Cut. And I think
He
it's,
loved it.
I think it's definitely, don't blasphemy. Um,
He liked it.
s- I mean, I liked it. I definitely liked it better than,
So you liked it.
uh, you know,
You
the
gave the
theatrical
original.
version.
Well, no, was it BVS that you gave like a 6 out of 10 to
I did, but like
originally?
in retrospect, like nowadays, like the more I
3.
think about it, I probably give it a 4 or so,
Yeah,
somewhere around
yeah.
there. Um, but honestly, when it comes to the Snyder Cut, I think it's decent. I don't think it's an amazing movie, especially considering how like it's really not a movie like in the
No, it's
traditional
a
sense. I mean,
mini series.
how many movies are 4 hours long here? So
I know at least one,
yeah,
maybe
Snyder
two.
Cut.
Two. I know another one.
So but anyhow, so I've been seeing so much posts and like stuff on social media about how great the Snyder Cut is, blah blah blah, and restore the Snyderverse. Let's go get director creativity back in the driver's seat and blah blah blah. All right, people, can we just calm the hell down for a second? This is the same guy that gave us BVS, and he also gave us his Snyder Cut of BVS, and that was still garbage.
That's
So,
true.
I mean, here's the thing: like, there's Snyder had hindsight. He had a double runtime to actually make the movie decent here,
True.
or amazing if you want to eat that stuff up here. And we are literally on the eve of getting a new and most likely improved DCEU with the Suicide Squad, which we just talked about, the Batman, and a
The
Flashpoint movie.
Flashpoint movie.
Yeah, the Flashpoint movie. Yeah. I mean, still don't know what that movie's called, but I'm just calling it Flashpoint because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be
Yeah.
Flashpoint. Um,
Yeah.
just let it die. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I am curious about like where the Snyderverse could potentially go, but I mean, we kind of already do know where it was going to go. Like Clark and Lois were going to have a kid. He's going to become the new Batman. You know, freaking stupid. Just shut it down here. But I mean, and the fact is like apparently like that nightmare scene that they did or like they put at the end of the movie,
Hmm.
some of that was just recently filmed. So it's like Snyder put intentionally like did this as a cliffhanger and all that. So
Oh, he knows what
he's
he's doing.
he's manipulating here, he's
Big
trying
time.
to. So yeah, I'm
Well, you know
just
what, Dorian, you just don't understand because Scott Snyder can do no wrong here. Okay, he's a great comic book writer, and he deserves the recognition that he does. Oh wait, we're talking about the other Snyder. Sorry about that. But
mhm.
um, Dorian, how dare you tell people to not demand garbage? Like, if they want
Yeah.
BVS, give them BVS too. Let them eat cake, is what I say. You know,
Yeah.
The masses
Garbage
know what they
cake. I
want.
mean,
The masses know what they want. There shouldn't be people dictating what the people want. That doesn't work.
I think we are getting more and more into the realm of fan driven
We're pandering.
movies just
No, we're
because
pandering is what they're doing.
we are I mean, because I mean, you look at Rise of Skywalker, that was fan service all over the place. You look at Sonic the Hedgehog, literally after the
Well,
backlash they
that was
went
just
and
the
changed.
design. That's because that design
Right.
was terrible. But
Right,
yeah,
but I mean, and now we're actually, having this billion-dollar company, like, bend the knee to Zack Snyder and saying, "Hey, we messed up here, and here, now we're gonna give you like millions of dollars to finish your movie and be true to your creative vision and all that." And I'm just like,
give me a break.
I mean, granted, here's the thing. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I will say that um, you should let the creative in the room actually make the movie, not the studio. However, when that creative does not have a great track record like Zack Snyder, I don't think like handing him the entire keys of the kingdom and like setting the tone for your entire like comic book movie universe is a great idea.
No, I agree. Speaking of, not a great comic book universe, Batman might not be returning, guys.
Yeah,
Batman may not be returning. So Michael Keaton is afraid of COVID and doesn't want to travel to the UK, basically. Because he's
yeah,
supposed to be in the Flashpoint movie as an older
yeah,
Batman, but if that doesn't happen, I would anticipate heavy rewrites to the current script they have.
yeah.
Because who are they going to bring back? Val
Most
Kilmer,
most definitely. I you know
George Clooney.
yeah.
They should bring back
No.
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Oh man. Yeah, no, it's yeah, I am kind of surprised by this. I mean, I figured this was a done deal. I figured Michael Keaton is in that Hollywood status, or that tier where they're talking with the Illuminati and he's got like a vaccine for like every disease known to man, has the immortality syndrome and all that. Or
He does, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know, man. I mean, it kind of. I mean, according to him, he supposedly hasn't even looked at the draft yet. So I'm like, okay, I like you might have had me going like initially, but now I think you overplayed your hand here. So I personally don't buy it. I think we'll still see it. Heck, I would even imagine they would even work around or even
Well, they
make or even like delay the movie just to get Keaton in this movie.
right, yeah. Michael Keaton, don't you dare break my heart, okay? You need to be in this freaking movie because I haven't seen you since Batman Returns in the Cape and Cowl. So do it,
You,
buddy.
you, you saw him in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Not in the Cape and Cowl.
That's true. That's true. He was a Birdman, not
He's
a
great in other
Batman.
guys as well. He's great in the other guys.
He is, yes.
So there's a Zatanna movie, or Zatanna, however you want to pronounce it, announced, and it's going to be produced by Bad Robot, which means J.J. Abrams is going to make this movie, right?
To a certain extent. I mean, at least produce it. Yeah.
So no
So,
details on
I
whether
mean,
it's
yeah,
going to tie into anything else. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing this is going to be on HBO Max. I don't see this going to the theaters personally. It's another one of those Static Shock,
yeah.
like green, like those kind of movies.
Batgirl.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I mean they announced like a HBO Max, like Justice Dark Jux Dark Justice League or
Yeah,
Justice
they
League
did.
Dark. Um, like about I don't know, it was like roughly about a year ago or something like that, and it was going to be produced by Bad Robot. So I would assume that it will probably tie in, but stranger things have happened, and
Whoa.
yeah, yeah, I know. When's the last time you heard that here?
Yeah.
Um, but man, I mean, they just keep coming with these movie announcements. It's like, guys, chill out. You're not Marvel just quite yet. You got to actually build up.
Hey, they're riding the coattails of something. So we'll
I
see.
mean, yeah, I mean, like right now, it's like they're just starting to like maybe find their stride. I mean, Wonder Woman 1984 wasn't like fantastic. I
Yeah, it wasn't
mean,
great. But
so I mean, I don't know. It's like your your success rate is still like maybe in the 50% if we're being generous. So it's like, guys, calm down.
that's if you think Aquaman was decent, you know?
I mean, Aquaman,
Aquaman.
I'll consider it success because
Yes,
I
for
mean
sure.
that made like $1 billion and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. Well, this is good because we're getting into some DC casting, which Helen Mirren is going to be in Shazam 2 and will play the villain Hespera, which I've never heard of that.
yeah, yeah,
So,
that one, yeah. I mean, granted, I'm not like super into the whole Shazam universe for the most part, or like like the Rogues Gallery, blah blah blah.
right.
But I will say, yeah, I mean, she's a good actress, and I think the last thing I saw her in was like Red. So, but
Okay. We got
yeah,
another old person in here.
we do.
Pierce Brosnan is gonna be in Black Adam, playing someone we actually talked about last week, being
We
Doctor
did.
Fate.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm a
He'll be
psychic.
playing. You know, but he'll be playing Kent Nelson, who so he's that version of Doctor Fate because there's been a couple of different Doctor Fates, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna he essentially, for those of you who don't know, Doctor Fate, like to maybe a poor comparison, but he's essentially the Doctor Strange
yeah,
of the DC universe here.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
no, I'm this is cool. I'm glad that we're actually getting some of these more like kind of like well-known characters or characters we've been waiting on to actually make it to the big screen.
For sure. And then we talked about it earlier. Sylvester Stallone, aka Sly,
Mhm.
is King Shark in the new the
Yeah,
Suicide Squad movie. And like you said, he's probably gonna have just a couple lines, but I think this is funny. It's definitely like
yeah.
up his alley, and yeah, we'll see. Um, rumor mill: Christopher Nolan is in early talks to direct an MCU film.
Oh, don't do that to me. I,
I figured that'd
I
get you
mean,
going a little bit.
you know, here's the thing. I mean, it's like, what would he even do for starters? Like
I can
what
see him
would be?
doing Avengers, like the next Avengers movie that's going to come out. Um,
Mm,
depending on what kind of tone they want to go with. But honestly, because there have been rumors lately of them slowly working in the X-Men. So I think it could be like a standalone X-Men movie before the X-Men team up happens. So like you could
I
say
mean,
Gambit, Wolverine, Magneto, whatever, one of those kind of characters. I think it's going to be a big character. I don't think it's going to be. They're not going to bring him in to do Shang-Chi. Sorry, like a character no one's heard of.
yeah,
Like they're not going to bring him in to do that. They're going to bring him in to
right.
do someone that they care about a lot. So I can see them bringing him in specifically to do and introduce someone from the X Men.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, man. I mean, I'd be surprised if this actually pans out or if it's even true, just because for one, Christopher Nolan has a very different directing tone from like the MCU. It's like a little bit
True.
more, a, a little bit more like like kind of darker, like maybe uh
It's got some grit to it.
a little bit more grit to like your typical MCU affair essentially. And I think also just because I think Christopher Nolan's at that level where he just can and wants to do his own stuff here because I mean, ever since like Inception took off, I think that kind of hit the light bulb for him, saying like, "Hey, I can actually do my own stuff now, and I can actually make money off of it here. Like people will
Right.
actually show up and see it." So yeah, I think that's probably just the way it's gonna go. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'd be shocked if this actually happens.
It'd be fun, but well, that's it for our nerd news. We're gonna head into our roundtable review. Dorian, what do we got?
Well, Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2. So we're talking about
Ooh.
it. Spoilers are inbound.
Yeah.
So watch it or just don't care. So
Fact.
honestly, another really solid episode here. Like I just feel like they just keep building and building on itself here. I mean, granted, we're only 2 episodes in, but still, we got a cool action scene with the trucks where uh, Bucky, Falcon, John Walker, and I forget what they called John Walker's sidekick.
It was. I have it in here. Hold on. Battlestar.
Battlestar, yeah.
Yeah.
So so they show up, they fail, but they kind of get an idea of like what's going on. They're transporting, you know, super soldier serum and all that. So essentially they're trying to make more people like Bucky and Captain America. And then we also got essentially like that there's been more than just one super soldier out there. There's a guy named Isaiah who
Yeah.
Bucky
Isaiah
fought in the
Bradley.
past. Yeah.
Yeah.
So um but we got a little bit of a backstory on John Walker, and so starting out this episode, it's like, oh, okay, like maybe this guy might actually be kind of likable here, but by the end of the episode, you're kind of like, okay, this guy's just
He's
kind
a
of a tool.
douche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Um, so I mean, they're definitely setting him up to be the villain in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I feel like that's all but
Or at
but
least a
happened.
character you love to hate.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we also got Sam and Bucky's relationship on full display, and it was great. Like you got they're just going back and forth, and yeah, it's honestly good episode.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like the fact there's more super soldiers out there. We got to meet one of them who did don the Captain America suit. Back in I can't remember what war he was part of. Was it Vietnam? No, not Vietnam. I don't remember what war he said he was part of. I
South
can't remember.
Korea.
South
I
Korea.
think it
There
was
we go. The
South
Korean the
Korea. I
Korean
think.
War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then I hate the new fake Captain America, John Walker. I am not a fan at all. Or rip off Falcon, aka Battlestar, without wings. But
Yeah.
yeah, Flag Smashers seem to
Yeah.
be Antifa with super strength and an actual plan, and
Yeah.
we get more in a look into the complexities of Bucky and Sam's relationship, and their both their relationships to Captain America, and kind of their own. Like they haven't come out and said it, but he has to be dead right now. Like that has to be
Yeah.
what has happened, and we just haven't heard about it. Um, or they kept it secret because he's vanished or whatever and went to the different timeline. But yeah, we'll eventually see more
Right.
of that, I'm sure. But um, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a really solid episode, like you. So probably give it like an 8.5 out
Yeah.
of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. So, next up on the list, we got a new comic called Ultra Mega. You've read this, I haven't. Why don't you tell us about it?
So it's a new series by Image Comics, kind of a kaiju style comic with hints of zombie and kind of Ultraman. which is Ultraman's like an old Japanese TV show where they had like
Yeah.
essentially mech type things fighting kaiju, which is similar to Power Rangers as well. But so there's characters that become protectors, and we'll have like a little visual up for you guys to fight against this space infection that causes these big monsters to manifest from humans. So you get like these really kind of over the top, kind of gross looking monsters, kind of similar to how creepy the Titans are in Attack on Titan. Not the same look, but that same creepiness, like that dark kind of creepy. Um,
Yeah, unsettling type of
yes,
thing.
very much so. And then you got and so when these monsters manifest, it activates these powers within these chosen people to become Ultra Megas. And they have super strength. They get taller. They have a suit. They can shoot beams from their hands, do all kinds of crazy stuff. One of them jumps on someone and blows himself up. It's a pretty gory comic. I have the physical one right here. Boom, boom, boom. But really solid. And I'm doubling down, honestly, just with all the books I've been reading, like how the indie market is much, much better than the mainstream DC and Marvel right now, just as far as originality.
Right.
Um, pretty dope art style as well in this. I really like it, and I highly recommend this book. It's the first issue. The next issue comes out the end of April. So yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. So then the crown jewel of your week, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. So have you got around to watching this yet?
Yeah, I did watch. I watched it back to back with Falcon Winter Soldier. I actually enjoyed
Okay.
the first episode of this. I thought it was really cute, I guess is the word. You get those
Cute.
throwbacks to like the OG Ducks. You're introduced to Gordon Bombay, these new characters. They're definitely a ragtag group like the original Ducks were. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of how Emilio, if he actually comes around and does coach them, because right now the mom's kind of coaching them, and she doesn't know hockey. So there's some funny moments. There's some kid humor, obviously, but Emilio did really good. I was actually surprised because I haven't seen him in anything in who knows how long. But he did great in the episode. I think the casting's pretty good. Like, just a decent story so far. I don't know how many episodes this is. I can't remember, but I mean, it's definitely a family-friendly show. So if you're out there listening, definitely go watch it with your kids or show them the original Mighty Ducks first, because I think those movies are on Disney Plus. And
I'd
then
be
come back,
surprised if they weren't.
yeah, and then come back and watch this show because it's pretty good. So yeah, well,
So is this kind of more like a? Is this more like a more friendly, like Cobra Kai, more family friendly Cobra Kai? You would say, like kind of old generation, new generation type stuff.
yeah, for sure, yeah. And I know there's gonna be
Okay.
cameos from the original Ducks, so yeah, we'll keep it tuned in. I'll watch the next episode for sure. But yeah, that's all I got for that. I just wanted to mention I did see it and it is good. So
Sweet.
there, yeah. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can check us out on all our social medias, YouTube, all that good stuff. Leave us a like, subscribe. Have an awesome week, and remember, everyone's a nerd about something.